Hey guys, it's Sarah and today is Booklist Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or topic that we want to talk about for the week. And this week we are going to talk about the best books that surprised us. So a book that we picked up that we were expecting to like, probably, let's give this a try, and then we ended up loving. And it was just the best surprise. And so we're going to talk about some of those today. So my first one is a series, and that is the Girl Meets Duke series by Tessa Dare, which I have been reading this year, and I have read the 3 that are currently out. Number 4 comes out in February, and I'm so excited about it. And the reason these were a surprise is because these are historical romances, and that is not a genre I read from, like, ever. So it was a big surprise at how much I loved these books. So the first one is The Duchess Dare. The second one is The Governess Game. The third one is The Wallflower Wager. And then the fourth one coming out in February is going to be The Bride Bet. And you guys, I've been talking about this a lot on my channel because I've been reading them and loving them. But seriously, they are so delicious. They are just fun. They're funny. They are swoony. And it's such a good mix of historical times where, you know, even an ankle is like scandalous and just raunchy at the same time. And then just the humor is on point. It is just the banter between the characters who are, you know, going through all these relationship stuff is just so good. I laugh out loud constantly in these books. Lindsay and I will message each other laughing about these books because they're just so funny. So definitely have been one of the best surprises of the year. Another surprise was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Now, this is a series, I've still only read the first one, so I do want to read the other books, but when I picked up the first one, I was expecting to like it. I was expecting to enjoy it. But I was not expecting to be obsessed with it, and I was kind of obsessed with it when I was reading it. I read it so fast, I couldn't put it down, and it was just like left and right, and I was just like, what? And I was just so surprised at how detailed it was and how political it was. I wasn't expecting that at all. A lot of politics went into this, and strategies, and just... yeah, things kind of came out of nowhere all the time. So it was great. I really loved the first book a lot. I can't believe I haven't continued. I should probably do that soon. But yeah, so that was a really big surprise too. Okay, so the next one is one that I actually got sent for review this year, and I accepted it because it sounded adorable. And then when I read it, I was blown away by how much I loved it. And that is The Love Story of Missy Carmichael. And this is by Beth Morrey. And this story was just so heartwarming, and it follows a woman who's older. She's lost her husband. She kind of puts herself out there and finds a couple of new friends, even though she's been very lonely, and she's kind of on the outs with her daughter as well. Her son does not live near her, so she's feeling very, very lonely, but she's older. And then she ends up becoming friends with some younger women, but they form such a strong bond throughout this. And then there's a dog that's involved. That was just awesome. And there were some twists and turns as well that I wasn't expecting. So I ended up really loving it. I gave it 5 stars, and it was a big surprise to me. I was expecting it to be like a 3 or 4 star, to be honest, going into it, because I wasn't quite sure, but I loved it. And the next one is one that when I picked this book up, I did not expect it to become an all-time favorite, but it is. And that's Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Yeah, this was my first Karen Slaughter book. And that's a doozy to go into because this book is one of the darkest books I've ever read. It's definitely one of the most violent, gruesome, amazing. I can still picture certain scenes in that book, and I've read this book more than 2 years ago now, because I read it when we were living in New Mexico still. So it's been more than 2 years since I've read this book, and I can still picture scenes, definitely 2 of them for sure, in my head very, very clearly. And it was amazing. I loved it so much, and it became an all-time favorite. And I love it when I read a book like that just impacts you, and like, this is a favorite book of mine now and still holds true to this day. So, and then obviously that started my obsession with Karen Slaughter. So, and then the last one is a book that I went into and I wasn't sure. That's The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Mistborn series. Now, I had wanted to read Brandon Sanderson. He's very prolific. He's a very big author in the fantasy genre, one of the most popular authors in the fantasy genre. And I'd heard such amazing things about him that I went in going, I hope I don't hate this. And I hope I can understand it, because fantasy can scare me sometimes with complexities, especially adult epic high fantasy can be very intimidating, because I'm like, I hope I understand what's going on and I can follow along with this. I was a little bit scared of that. And I was still a little newer to the fantasy genre as well, just kind of starting to get into things and kind of branch out into more like adult fantasy. And I loved it. I could follow it, no problem. I was never lost. He explained things in such a way that it was so easy for me to understand. And that's what I was afraid of. And he completely eased my mind on that. And I absolutely loved that book. I'm excited to read the rest of that series. I haven't read them yet, but I'm actually even considering rereading the first book again and then like binge reading that trilogy. But it was written just in a wonderful way and made it very much less intimidating for me to pick up any fantasy books now. So yeah, but that was a wonderful surprise. Okay, guys, so those are the books that have been one of the best surprises for me, and, just caught me off guard or were a lot better than I was expecting. So I love it when books do that. It's fantastic. So let me know down below what some of your best surprise books have been. Just a book that you picked up that you were expecting to enjoy, but then you ended up loving, or you were expecting one thing and then you got something else, but it was even better than what you were expecting. Let me know those down below, and make sure you go check out Lindsay today and see what her best surprise books have been. I really want to know those answers as well. And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.